It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the movies of December 20th, 1991. We have 5 movies to look at today, so let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right on into it. And we're going to start off with our first movie here. We have Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, and Martin Short in the comedy remake Father of the Bride. So interestingly enough, the remake rights for this were actually acquired to Disney by Turner Entertainment, which is of course owned by Warner Brothers now, and we just had recently the Father of the Bride remake with Andy Garcia and Gloria Estefan in that one, which kind of brings it back full circle. And I've actually seen that one recently. It's pretty good. Nothing too special, nothing too exciting, but it is actually pretty enjoyable. It's an enjoyable little film. Definitely to look for it if you can. Considering what's going on with HBO Max now, I'd say go check it out as soon as you can, because you never really know how long it's going to be there. So, yeah, definitely check it out if you can. But with the original Father of the Bride, I never seen the original one, the remake of that one with Spencer Tracy. Was it Spencer Tracy? Let me double check here. Yeah, Spencer Tracy. Yeah, I've never seen that one before. My only knowledge of this series is the 90s movies with Steve Martin and Diane Keaton. And kind of like what I feel like with the 2022 remake. This was pretty good. I mean, you got Steve Martin and Martin Short in here, and usually they're going to turn in a good performance regardless. They also got Diane Keaton in here, and Kimberly Williams, who would later be known for her work on shows like According to Jim and Nashville. She's very good in here too. You also have George Newbern, who would play Superman later on down the road. B.D. Wong is in here from Jurassic Park. Macaulay Culkin's brother, Kieran Culkin's in here. And really, there's nothing really more you could say about this one. Really, there is nothing wrong with it at all, but there's nothing great about it. It's just a nice, comfy movie to watch. Like, it's a movie it's just a good movie you can watch. You don't have to worry about anything blowing you away or anything, but you'll get a lot of good laughs out of it because of the people involved in it, and a good writer and a good director. And it's a nice, heartfelt movie. It's a nice film that has a lot of good comedic moments, a lot of good moments of emotional elements that, I mean, many people can relate to what's going on with the story between this family and how they're preparing for the wedding and all that. I mean, many people can easily find themselves in this situation, and it just makes for a very entertaining film. It's a movie that is not afraid to play it safe. Really, it's the best way to describe it. It's a movie that plays it safe, but doesn't play it safe where it's completely boring or anything. It's a very good, well-made film. It's a nice film, great performances all around by the cast, good writing, good direction. It's a really good film. It's a fun film to watch. It's one of those movies that really surprises me every time I see it, because I always feel like this is going to be a movie that's not going to be as good as I remember it, and lo and behold, it really is much better than you would give it credit for. I mean, it's a nice film. Definitely see it if you can. The original, the 90s Father of the Bride. So, with that said, let's go ahead and move on to the next movie. Not only the best movie of the week, but easily one of the best movies of the year, and that is, of course, Oliver Stone's JFK. I mean, this one I really don't even need to talk about all that much, because really, everyone can agree that this is not only one of Oliver Stone's best movies, but it is probably his magnum opus. I mean, this is next to Platoon, Born on the 4th of July, and this movie. This is definitely one of his most memorable films, and you can definitely see why. It's a movie that does everything that you think a movie like this would fail against, but really succeeds on so many levels. First off, it's a over 3 hour movie that's never boring. It keeps you invested in what's going on. You're watching this, and you're just so invested in what's going on, and you're trying to figure out if there's a point to be made about some of the things that they're trying to bring into here. And not only that, you got one hell of a cast. I mean, this is an amazing cast they've got involved in this. Not only Kevin Costner, but you have Kevin Bacon, you have Tommy Lee Jones, you have Laurie Metcalf, Gary Oldman, Michael Rooker, Sissy Spacek, Joe Pesci is in here, Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau are in here, Donald Sutherland's in this movie. The mysterious elements about the movie are very well done. This is what Oliver Stone does at his best. I mean, I think he creates a smart and enjoyable political thriller where you become so invested in what's going on that you can't turn away from it. You just really can't turn away from it. it easily is one of the best political thrillers ever made, and kind of like with Beauty and the Beast, this is a movie that probably should have won Best Picture. I mean, this is a movie that really shows you everything that Oliver Stone does so well as a filmmaker, and he really sells it here. It's a really great film, fantastic movie, another one of Oliver Stone's best films. I can't recommend this movie enough. If you haven't seen it already, please go see JFK. You will not be disappointed by any means. So, with that said, though, let's go ahead and get into some lesser movies that came out this weekend, starting with High Heels. So High Heels comes to us from Pedro Almodovar, who's best known for his work such as Talk to Her, Bad Education, Broken Embraces, The Skin I Live In. Recently he did Parallel Mothers. He's a very good director nowadays with the movies that he's made. He's always nominated for Best Foreign Language Film, and some of his movies have even been close to getting nominated for Best Picture, honestly. But in terms of this movie, it's one of those ones where I can't really say too much about it because I don't really know too much about it, except for I'll just run down the premise for you real quick. It's basically following a fractured relationship between a self-involved mother, a famous torch singer, and her grown daughter she abandoned as a child. The daughter, who works as a newscaster, has married her mother's ex-lover and befriends a female impersonator, and a murder further conflicts the web of relationships. That's pretty much all I really I have for this, because I haven't seen this movie. I can't really comment on it, but I mean, Pedro Almodovar has made some pretty good movies, so I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't end up being as good. I wouldn't be surprised if this ended up being as good as some of his other works, so yeah, that's basically all I have to say about High Heels. Let's go ahead and move on to the next movie, and that is Rush. Yeah, this movie kind of lost me when Neil Peart didn't show up and do Tom Sawyer. I mean, come on, it's called Rush. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so this Rush features Jason Patric and Jennifer Jason Leigh. You also see Greg Allman in here, as well as Sam Elliott. William Sadler's in here. It's directed by Lily Zanuck, this is also the same person, the same Lily Zanuck from the Zanuck Company, who's produced a ton of Oscar-worthy movies, Oscar-winning films. And like with the last movie, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it too much, but it doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks like a decent film all around, and I'm kind of interested to see what the score by Eric Clapton sounds like, because I don't know if Eric Clapton ever did a full-on score. I know he did some music for the Lethal Weapon movies, but never a full score before, so I'm kind of curious to see what that sounds like. So that's pretty much all I got to say about Rush for you. So let's go ahead and move on to the last movie, and that is Akira Kurosawa's Rhapsody in August. So the story of Rhapsody in August centers around an elderly Habuska who lost her husband in the 1945 atomic bombing in Nagasaki, caring for her 4 grandchildren over the summer. She learns of a long-lost brother who lives in Hawaii and wants to visit him before he dies. And interestingly enough, this also has Richard Gere starring in here as the son of the brother Sujiro. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, because as far as I know, Akira Kurosawa doesn't usually cast American actors unless it's something special, like for Dreams or something like that, but I don't know. I'd have to do more research into that, but another one where I haven't really seen it, but depending on because the director is Akira Kurosawa, it's going to look visually gorgeous. It's going to look visually gorgeous. It's going to look very interesting story-wise, and usually the casting is going to be very good, so I mean, it definitely could be very good, so that's one I'm going to have to definitely check out at some point as well. So yeah, not sorry for not too much of a delving into the last 3 films, but like I said, I can't really comment on them if I haven't seen them. So that is Rhapsody in August for you. So on that note, we wrap up another edition of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll wrap up 1991. We look at the weekend of Christmas 1991 with 9 movies to look at, including some notable films such as The Prince of Tides, starring and directed by Barbara Streisand. Also features Nick Nolte in there. Madame Bovary, Fried Green Tomatoes, Grand Canyon, David Cronenberg's Naked Lunch, the National Film Board of Canada's Film Animation Festival, Until the End of the World, The Inner Circle, and Hear My Song. So 9 movies to wrap up 91, and then the next day we jump into 1992. So we're moving along here pretty well. With that said, thank you guys for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please check out the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and I'll see you folks tomorrow for another episode. So thank you for watching, I'll see you tomorrow, and until then, as always, take care.